Welcome to 1189, an online Bible commentary. My name is Tyler Marston, and today we're taking a look at Numbers chapter 2. After the census that was taken in the first chapter, God continues giving instructions to Moses, telling the Israelites how they should arrange their camps. First, we find God in his tabernacle in the very center, reflecting how serving and obeying God should be central in our lives. Then we see how all of the tribes have their dedicated places and positions, reminding us of the positions and influence that God has given us, and how we can use that for his glory. Now the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, "The sons of Israel shall camp, each by his own standard, with the banners of their fathers' households. They shall camp around the tent of meeting at a distance." God starts by laying out the people, and he tells them that the tabernacle, and he himself by extension, will be in the very center of the camp. Each tribe of Israel will camp around it, but at a distance. The Levite camps will serve as a buffer. God being at the center is indicative of how the people should live their lives. Everything they do must revolve around God, his covenant, his instructions, and the grace and freedom that he has generously bestowed on them. We remember from Exodus 25 to 30 how the tabernacle is decorated with images referring back to the Garden of Eden. It's part of the larger way that the tabernacle represents God coming to live among his people, and that his reconciliation to his creation will happen through the family of Israel. And so here in the camp, the tabernacle is placed in the center, just as the tree of life was placed in the center of the Garden of Eden. Through the nation of Israel, God will somehow return to live among his people in his creation. This is the thesis statement of the entire biblical story, and it's illustrated here even through the layout of Israel's camp. Now, meanwhile, each of the tribes around the tabernacle will be laid out in a specific order, and they're all going to have their own tribal banners and standards that they camp around. Now, those who camp on the east side towards the sunrise shall be of the standard of the camp of Judah by their armies. And the leader of the sons of Judah, Nashon, the son of Amminadab, and his army, even their numbered men, 74,600. Now on the far east side, closest to the sunrise, that's where the tribe of Judah is going to camp. Remember that they're the largest of the 12 tribes, and they're the one promised by Jacob in Genesis 49 to be the house of royalty. And because the Israelites are traveling east from Egypt to Canaan, this means that Judah will be the tribe in the front of the caravan. That's why they're listed first. And it foreshadows Judah's importance through the rest of the biblical story. Verses 5 through 9 say that the tribes of Issachar and Zebulun will also camp on the east side with Judah. They will depart first whenever the cloud of God's glory moves, which will prompt the rest of the Israelites to follow. The leaders of the tribe of Judah will lead everyone on this east side, because they're the largest tribe and because they've been prophesied to be kings over the others. Verses 10 through 16 say they will be followed by Reuben, Simeon, and Gad, who will all be camping on the south side. And the leaders of the tribe of Reuben are responsible for the south side camps as Jacob's firstborn. Then the tent of meeting shall set out with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camps. Just as they camp, so they shall set out, every man in his place by their standards. Whenever God prompts the camp to move to a new location, the tabernacle and the Levites will always stay in the center, surrounded by the rest of the people. They will move out after the east side and the south side tribes move out, but before the west side and the north side ones do. And of course, the Levites will go with the tabernacle and its equipment as the ones responsible for carrying all of it. Now we'll get into more detail with how they do so correctly and with reverence later in Numbers. Verses 18 through 24 put Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin on the west side of the tabernacle, and they will follow behind the tabernacle whenever they move to a new place. The leaders of the tribe of Ephraim will be in charge over this west side of the camp, since Joseph, Ephraim's father, was Jacob's favorite son and Rachel's firstborn. Of course, we also remember that Manasseh, his brother, was actually older than Ephraim, but Ephraim received the blessing of the firstborn from Jacob in Genesis 48, since God had revealed to Jacob that Ephraim would be the larger tribe. And finally, bringing up the rear, verses 25 through 30 tell us that the tribes of Dan, Asher, and Naphtali will camp on the north side of the tabernacle. They're going to be the caboose on the wagon train. And the leaders of the tribe of Dan will be in charge on this side. They're actually the second largest tribe. And since Dan was the firstborn of Jacob's sons with the maids. These are the numbered men of the sons of Israel by their fathers' households. The total of the numbered men of the camps by their armies, 603,550. The Levites, however, were not numbered among the sons of Israel, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus the sons of Israel did, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so they camped by their standards, and so they set out, every one by his family according to his father's household. Altogether, this is how the 603,550 Israelite families were settled in their camp. They were all around the tabernacle, structured according to their tribes, and they were arranged in a particular order, based on the different positions of leadership that each tribe was responsible for. And of course, ultimately, God is at the center, mirroring how God's covenant should be central to everything that this nation does. Now, God's covenant with us, through Jesus, should be just as central to everything we do, aligning ourselves with or revolving around any other ideology or philosophy. It's going to end up in us making mistakes. And these mistakes don't just affect us. It affects our families. It affects future generations too. Now, in the same way that each of the tribes had different positions of influence and leadership and authority, we have also all been given different spheres of influence and responsibilities. Maybe you find yourself leading out in the open, like Judah. Or maybe you're the caboose, steering from behind, unseen, like Dan. Maybe you're the leader of a tribe, or a leader in your family. Or maybe you just have smaller responsibilities at your work, or in your church, or in your house. Either way, we all find ourselves in the places we are with the influences we have only because God has given them to us. What's important is to not be jealous of someone else's position in the camp. Instead, faithfully leading and shepherding all those who God has entrusted to you. Thanks for watching 1189. I hope you have a good day, and God bless.